Hey, what's going on? I'm gonna make a quick video. We've got Conor McGreger versus Dennis Siver. I'm just sitting here just playing guitar. That's a fat Strat. I play a lot of metal. I really like it. But anyway, Conor McGreger versus Dennis Siver. This is a really good fight for Conor McGreger and not a good fight for Dennis Siver. Dennis Siver is 35 years old. Which is not prime age for MMA. Conor McGregor's like 24, 25, something like that. That is prime age. 25, 26 is prime for MMA. Dennis Siver, 22 wins, 9 losses, and Conor McGregor's on a tear. This is really good for McGregor because he should win this fight, and it's just going to give him more experience. That's if he doesn't crack under the pressure, man. I just watched him doing an interview in front of the entire Brazilian crowd, and the Brazilian people are just all razzing him and trying to get him all riled up. But man, that's a really a really stressful thing to be in, and just all this drama. Remember Nick Diaz in Strikeforce? He would just show up and fight, and just was on a tear, just beating everybody. But he didn't like doing all that media stuff. He knew that it takes energy out of you, and everybody's different. But how could you enjoy having to stand there and argue with people? You know what I mean? And listen to people basically harass you. That stuff all really, stuff eats at you. So, of course, he's got a lot of fans when he goes out too. People are asking for his autograph. So maybe it evens out. Hopefully it does. It balances out. Someone calls you a name, and then some girl comes up and asks for your autograph, and then you feel good again. You know what I mean? It's so we'll see, but this I believe Dennis Siver is ranked above Conor McGregor. So I don't really talk about rankings much, because usually rankings are behind. The guys that are the number one fighter in the world are ranked down, and they got it. But by the time they get to be ranked number one, they're maybe on the decline, or you know what I mean, or maybe the rankings are accurate for a slight time, GSP being ranked number one, but then Johnny Hendricks comes in and beats him, and if they fought again, that Hendricks would beat him, and then he would no longer be ranked number one. You know what I mean? It's just this the way it is. Fedor ranked number one for a long time, and by the time he finally started losing, he probably wasn't number one fighter in the world. Just as far as skill goes, but was still ranked up until the end, right? Right before he started losing and stuff. So the rankings are oftentimes they're after the fact. So somebody 35 years old, going up against somebody that's 24, that's just on a tear. You know what I mean? It's the rankings don't really matter. You can rank however you want. You could just use common sense from watching MMA. But I think this is perfect for Conor McGregor. Just keep kind of moving up in in your competition, because some of these guys might be a big jump. To go from like Diego Brandao, and to jump up and fight like Cub Swanson. That's a pretty big jump. He just fought Poirier. I don't know. Poirier might be better than Dennis Siver. It's hard to say. I would, these guys are all kind of seem like they're around in the same level, but Cub Swanson's good, but he's getting up there in age too. So, and Jose Aldo, McGregor can beat Jose Aldo. We all know that, but will he? Jose Aldo, he's like GSP. Like he's it's hard. You can't. He's hard to beat, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they're better. It's just one of those weird things in MMA. But I mean, McGregor's been annihilating everybody that he's been fighting, just destroying them. And Chad Mendes is really good, so there's a good chance McGregor could lose to Chad Mendes or Jose Aldo. Those guys are at, I think, a little bit different, higher level than Poirier and Dennis Siver. So we'll see. But McGregor beat Poirier like it made him look like a 10-year-old. This is a professional fighter. I mean, it didn't really seem very challenging. He's just annihilating these guys. So, I mean, if you were to put Diego Brando in there against Jose Aldo, and then put Poirier in there against Jose Aldo, would Aldo finish him as quick? No. Would it go 5 rounds? I don't know, maybe. He would still win. I still think Jose would win and dominate him. So it's hard to say, because at the end of the day, winning is winning. And Aldo, GSP, people like this, they just do it in a little bit different way. But I think this is a good fight, but obviously I picked McGregor to win this fight. I'm kind of curious what the betting odds are. But, people might have been sleeping on Conor McGregor a little bit, man, because it looks to me like he's going to be the champ. I mean, his skill level is right there. I mean, do you see any of these guys like Chad Mendes, any of these guys destroying people that are in the middle of the class, you know what I mean, in a more dominant way? I mean, I don't. I mean, really. So, yeah. So that's that, man, And, yeah, this is a good fight. A bad fight for Dennis Siver. I mean, even if he beats McGregor, of course, that would be good for anybody, but, we'll see. I think if McGregor loses, he'll get submitted. I don't really think he'll get dominated, like wrestled to death. For 5 rounds by anybody. But we'll see. He's a big guy. He cuts quite a bit to drop down to 145. I mean, he seems bigger than these other guys, and like just as fast, more reach. So Aldo's the same way though. Aldo cuts weight a lot. He has a hard time cutting weight. So it's hard to say. But the more fights McGregor takes and wins before he fights Jose Aldo, like I said this before, he might not even be the champion anymore. I mean, there's a good chance. Chad Mendes has been looking great. There's a good chance he could beat Aldo. But, yeah, no, we'll just have to see how it all plays out. But anyway, Conor McGregor versus Dennis Siver. I'm not real surprised that they made this fight. I was a little bit surprised. But the UFC they're being smart with him. They're not just throwing him in deep water. And I mean throwing McGregor in deep water. Because of all the hype and everything. I think if you, like you said, he's working his way up. He's getting better and better. But he had that terrible injury to his knee. And, he's coming back, and he's coming back strong. So, if they do that, I think the UFC wants McGregor as the champ. And they're letting him, just inch his way up. And as he inches his way up, again, opponent-wise, his skill level is improving. By the time he does get up there, his skill level is going to peak. Now, that'll all change. That could change. But, say he goes out there with Dennis Siver and gets submitted or something like that. That doesn't really affect your skill level. You're still growing as a fighter. You probably would learn from that. So it's not the end of the world, but man, this sure was a boring weight class before Conor McGreger came in. That's for sure. I don't know why. It just seems to be a lack of talent in this class. But when somebody's really good, they make a weight class look weak. So we'll see. But anyway, that's a fight that's coming up, and yeah, I mean, I'm excited about it. I guess so. I'm curious to see the Chad Mendes versus Aldo fight. It's probably going to be another boring Aldo win, but that's the weight class though. That just makes you like McGregor more when you see these guys, and it's just like, ugh, this is lame. I mean, I follow MMA a lot, and I just don't have too much to talk about. I've made a lot of videos on Conor McGregor just because somebody new that just kind of burst into the scene. And the guys that we liked before have all retired. They're just not fighting anymore. What are we going to talk about? John Jones, I mean, what's to really say? I don't know. Just kind of stagnant, One guy who I think is a real sleeper in all this MMA stuff is Chris Weidman. This guy has yet to lose, and now he's injured. But he beat Anderson Silva twice, kind of in a strange way, but I don't think anybody else is going to beat him, not anytime soon. So, and yeah, alright, cool, I'll catch you guys later.